So there's this game that came out on Game Pass the other day called Floppy Knights, which, grabbed my attention, as I'm sure it would most people. And this game is basically, if you took the game design documents of Hearthstone or any of those like deck builder style games and Advanced Wars and smashed them together, you pretty much have exactly what Floppy Knights is.
I want to come in with one question.
Come on then. What's it? What
is the card element necessary?
In what way do you mean necessary?
If this was a game designed closer to the Advance Wars side of the inspiration than the card part, would it be a better game?
Well, I mean, if you was to do that, you would just have Advance Wars.
That's true. But the point I'm getting at is, I find a lot of games that are like, we have introduced a deck building mechanic. Is a lot like, 5 years ago when everyone was like, we have done procedural generation.
Yeah. I get what you mean, definitely.
Is it necessary for this game? Does it make it better? Who knows? But it's the thing people like right now, so deck building.
I think I really like it. I mean, I like deck building games. I don't play a ton of them, but I did play a bunch of Hearthstone when I was younger, and it was fairly early on with that game. If you was to take the deck building out, you do just have Advance Wars. It's so like a kind of 1-to-1 replication of both of those games, but just smashed together. That if you was to take one out, you would just have Hearthstone or you would just have Advance Wars. But I do think that it makes a compelling game. The general idea is that you have your map layout. And if you think of Advance Wars, you have your enemies that are positioned around the map, and then you have whatever the objective is, whatever it is, clear all the enemies, or capture the flag, or defend this outpost for 10 turns, whatever. But instead of having all of your predestined vehicles, assault vehicles or whatever in Advance Wars, what you have instead is you have your deck, you have your main commander-in-chief that works the same way in Hearthstone, that once they're eliminated, then it's game over, so you want to use them. They'll have their own passive ability and attack pattern and stuff as well, but obviously you need to keep them safe or keep their HP up at all times. And then you build your deck around them, and within that deck you'll have a bunch of different smaller units that you can spawn. And then once they're spawned into the map, they'll also have their own unique cards that you can play as well. And then it does the thing with Hearthstone where you have X amount of mana that you can use per turn. So you can't just use every card in your hand. You have to think about how you want to play. And within that deck of up to 30 cards, you draw I think 6 cards every turn. So you don't always have the same cards per turn. And once you've burned through the deck, it'll then refresh and you start again. And so within that deck, your first card you always put down is your commander, wherever on the specific part of the map that you start. And then you have a bunch of things you can do from there. You can't move the character freely. Each character has their own unique amount of tiles that they can move, but you have to use, it's called a move tile. Or there is whatever type of card that lets you move, but then does whatever other ability as well. So, if you have 5 or 6 characters or units on the screen, there's a good chance that you're not going to be able to move all of them in one turn. So you kind of have to think strategically about where you want to move, and also thinking about where your enemies are and where they're going to move on the next turn and how that's going to impact. And then from there as well, you have different units that are more ranged, that are glass cannons, that are tanks, etc., etc. So you can build the deck. You can build your deck to kind of to your playstyle, keeping in mind that the missions do vary up and do ask different things of you. And, I've done the first 2 worlds that are 4 levels each. And I think it's I don't think it's anything that's groundbreaking. It is kind of as you mentioned there, where it's every game tried to do deck building for a while. But I think this is a game that these 2 styles complement each other. And if you like either of these styles, you'll probably enjoy this game. If you fucking hate either of these styles, you're not going to like this game, because the other style isn't going to, drag you kicking and screaming to the other one. But it's the type of thing, if you were to play it for 15-20 minutes, give it the old Garrett method, you'll get a quick understanding if you think that you would want to play it more. But I sunk a good few hours into it, and I'm more than happy to see it through to the end.
Interesting. Interesting.
and it is on the old Game Pass.
Yeah,
so
you can't go wrong. Then the Game Pass is perfect for the Garrett method, frankly.
It really is, isn't it?
They should add a tab on freaking Game Pass on the Xbox store, being like, ideal for Garrett method.
I'll chat to the big Spence about it and see if I can get that done.
You could do like the Garrett Method collection on there.
Yeah.
Here are games that you can download and have a great 15 minutes with.
Yeah, or at least within 15 minutes, you'll know.